TF Nation. Fantastic weekend. Let's talk some more about it. So, travelled up on the Friday night with Becky. We were staying in different hotels because she was rooming with her friend from Germany. I was rooming with the legend that is Anton and Trainers Prime. The journey took a bit longer than it should have done. It was like 3 hours nearly instead of like an hour and a half. So that's a shame because I've missed the Rock Lords panel and the movie. I would have liked to have seen that. I've seen it before, but you know, it's always nice to sit down and watch these things. But what can you do? Bloody traffic. But yeah, made it in time for the quiz. I did that with Ian and some other random people who we were all pressed together as a team by Adam White. Kind of just grabbed hold of us and said, "You're now a team. Go and do the quiz." So we did, and we did pretty well. Much better than we thought we were going to do, I think. Mostly thanks to Ian's very obscure Beast Wars knowledge. I was good on the G1. Anything else, Unicorn Trilogy, you can forget it. So we did that, watched the movie. Brilliant as always. I think that was pretty much it for the Friday night. I didn't stay up too late. Well, I didn't plan to anyway. I went back up to my room pretty much straight after the movie. And we were just playing around on the Earth Wars game for a bit. And then Anton came back to the room and we were up till 3 AM talking crap. Brilliant, loved it. And then I woke up at 6:15 the following morning, so I had about 3 hours sleep. I'm so tired, but it was fantastic. Got up, had breakfast, and then the dealer room was open. So let's have a look at what I bought, because that's a big part of what this video is about. So to start off, I got the thing I kind of thought I would probably get. I mentioned, well, I did my pre-convention video last week sometime, and I sort of reeled off a list of things I was kind of looking for, and they went off to a pretty good start actually. I decided not to do what I usually do at previous conventions and do a bloody lap of the hall before I decide, yes, it's now okay to part with cash. This year I made a very conscious effort to get, if I saw what I wanted, I'm just going to have it there and then, because I've missed out on things in the past, and that wasn't going to happen this year. So to start with, I got Takara Hardhead. About twice the cost of the Hasbro version, but I really wanted the animation accurate head, and Hardhead's probably my favourite headmaster, so I loved Rebirth as a kid. I watched that over and over and over and over and over and over till the video basically broke. And then I just bought that off Kapow, literally 5 minutes after being in the hall, because I was pretty sure they were going to have that hard head, so I just went straight there. And I was chatting to Anton, who was with me, and I literally just turned to my right. There it is. That's the thing. I talked about it on my pre-convention video that I wanted a Fans Toys Saw, the blue chest version, and I didn't think I was going to get it, and I kind of resigned myself to the fact I wasn't going to get it, and I was already kind of making like plan B and plan C in my head about what I was going to do when I didn't find it, but I got it. Yeah, it's alright I suppose. Yeah, I was talking to the guy I bought it from, and I said, you know, this is the one thing I came for this year. I wasn't expecting to find it, and he said it's the only one in the room that he knows of, and he said he had a couple of these left from last year, and this is the last one he had from his batch, so fate, I guess. I was talking to Chris about it later in the weekend, and he just said that was meant to be yours. I'm not going to complain. He is lovely. Transformed it once so far. A couple of scary bits, moving the legs around. Had to loosen a few screws, but it's good. It's really good. It's heavy. It's shiny. It looks like the cartoon, and that is the most important thing. So next off, I walked around the corner to the Space Bridge, and again, I'd mentioned, in fact, the last 2 years I've been looking for a G1 cliff jumper, because I've got one up on the shelf, but it's a KO, and it doesn't deserve to be on the shelf. So got me finally, after 2 years of looking at G1 cliff jumper. It's a little bit loose. Don't care in the slightest. It's a proper cliff jumper. It's got a very loose arm, but I don't care. I don't care. I'll keep the KO because in case I need to raid it for spares, like maybe like the rubber tires or something. But I can finally take it off my shelf and put a genuine cliff jumper on the shelf. Basically, after the first, this must have been about 20 minutes, I'd bought the 3 main things I came to find. So at that point, if I don't find anything else I want the whole weekend, it's all good. It's all good. But that was not the end. Next up, I think it was the next table along actually, and I can't remember if I'd done. I think I did a lap before I bought any more. So yeah, it probably wasn't the next one, next one along. But I went back around again and I found a Titan's Return Globber. Another thing I'd mentioned in my video that I wanted. Sadly, couldn't find an ape face. There didn't seem to be any about. I know there was a few there. They must have all got gobbled up like really, really quickly. But that's cool. I don't mind that. If I was going to not find anything off the list, I'd rather it be something from a current line, so I can, I can get that pretty easily. That's not a problem. So yeah, happy with that. Haven't opened it yet. I prefer to do the videos with stuff still in the boxes, so I haven't opened most of the things. The only thing I have got out is this, and because I couldn't wait, I could not wait. It's so shiny. Next up, I got from Sid. I got the Scorpionator cassette. I put my name down with him to reserve one, so I grabbed one of those while I was there. Again, I haven't got it out yet. Really looking forward to it. Love my cassettes. So basically, I had to buy this. It would have been rude not to, wouldn't it? So next, I was at Toy Fu. And I make a point of buying at least one thing from them every year because it's for charity. It's all for good cause. I kind of know Matt, who works on the stall as well, so I could say hello to him as well. And I was just sort of having a little look at the stuff they had there, and he said, if you buy something off me, even if it's just £1, you can have a Rock Lords fanzine and a badge. Team Boulder all the way. So yeah, I was having a look at what they had. Not as much kind of grabbed me there as they normally have, but it's different things each year, so you never know what you're going to get. But I found a tailgate, so I had a tailgate off them. Another one for my mini bots collection. I'm not too far away from completing my mini bots. I think I'm about 4 away from completing the entire line of mini bots. More on that later. That was basically it for the first day. Went back up to the room, went back up a couple of times actually, just every once in a while I just had to decompress and just sort of chill out for half an hour or so, just to kind of collect myself, ready myself to go again. Not done that usually, but I found it quite useful to just have a moment of quiet every now and then, just to keep myself fresh. It worked pretty well. So I was up in the room at the end of the day, and Anton came up and he handed me something, and he said, "I saw you looking at this earlier, so I got it for you." And it's is it Korokyu? I think that's what the line's called. Cliff jumper. Because I love cliff jumper, and he transforms into this rather interesting robot. I love it. Brilliant. Thanks, Anton. So that was what I bought on the first day. Listened to a few panels as well. Went to the Earth Wars panel. Been playing that a lot lately, and that was quite interesting to see some sort of things from sort of a design standpoint of view. A little bit about what may be coming in the future. They gave us a card for download some free bots, but I already have the cards for, sadly. But I'll hang on to it just in case. So that was really good. Did I do any other panels? I feel like I did, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, I watched the third party panel. Of course I did. Can't believe I forgot that. So that was quite interesting. Didn't seem to be as much reveal as previous years at the convention, but there was enough there to keep us going. I really like the look of the upcoming fans project Dinobots, the Raptor and the other. I don't know what the dinosaur is. I'm sorry, I don't know. But yeah, I think I might have to get one of those when they're released. Then we had the Saturday night entertainment. That was cracking. The cosplay is always good. I like the way the cosplay they didn't drag it out too long this year. Not that there's anything wrong with previous year's cosplay. It's not the cosplayers themselves. Just felt the way they would, stop each person, have a chat with them, blah 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 blah. It took a bit too long before, and it was paced well. That's what I'm trying to say. It was paced well. Then with the script reading, that was good. I enjoyed that as well. Very funny. And there was the quick fire quiz thing at the end. Didn't take part in it myself, but it was quite interesting. So that was the end of the first day. Didn't really stick around to hang out in the bar after the Saturday night entertainment. I was just too tired. I was knackered, so I just went straight upstairs, and then ended up just playing Earth Wars again for a few minutes, and just went to sleep. Absolutely knackered. Didn't wake up the next morning till 10 o'clock, and was like, I'm gonna miss breakfast. So sort of hurriedly got downstairs for breakfast. Shoveled copious amounts of food down my throat, and then went back into the dealer room for round 2, as it were. So I kind of bought all the things that I was really looking for the most part on day 1. So there wasn't anything specific I was aiming for on day 2. I had a few things in mind from what I'd seen, but I hadn't made any final decisions at that point. So I just had a bit of a wander. Walked past Toy Fu again, spoke to Matt again, and he gave me some Rock Lords prints. Good stuff. Do like a bit of Rock Lords. Had a few of them when I was a kid. I've got a couple of the Gnarlies still on my shelf. I did have 1 or 2 others, but my nephew took a liking to them when I was going through old toys and things, so I let him have it. But so I decided to buy a couple of Rock Lords at this point, and I said to Matt, I'm going to give you some money for some really terrible toys now. I was only joking, of course. They're amazing. So I actually bought a Tombstone, but I gave that to Anton just as a sort of a thank you for getting me the cliff jumper the night before, and I bought one for myself. I bought Marbles, who I really like in the movie actually, but good lord, his toy is terrifying. I love it. So at this point, I kind of had something in mind I wanted to get, but I didn't want to spend the amount that it was going to cost to buy it. And so Sunday went, I bided my time Sunday. I didn't rush into anything, considering a few options, saw a few things. In the end, I just couldn't not buy the thing. I said I wasn't going to pay £80 for her. I paid £80 for her. Oh, why? No, she's like proper nice. I mentioned in my video before the last one I did that I wanted her, but I wasn't going to pay £80 for her, which is the going rate. But when I saw her on the table at all the cool stuff, I was like, oh, it looks even better in person. I sort of tried to deny it to myself that I was going to pay the money for it. And everyone was talking to me going, you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it. And I think Stu even said, you're going to buy that by 2 o'clock. And he was almost right. I managed to till 3 o'clock, and then I cracked. Like a terrible botcon toy addict with no willpower, I cracked. And I handed over what was almost the last of my money at that point. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it. She's got this kind of whole orange, yellow and brown thing going on, and it's like proper retro 70s kind of look. It reminds me of the throwback uniforms of the San Diego Padres baseball team. I love it. I love it. So I was just left with a sort of bit of change in my wallet at that point, so I was like, I've got enough to buy one more mini-bot. So I went back to Spacebridge and I bought Outback, because Outback is cool. I used to own a Brawn. In fact, I still have a Brawn, but he's lost his arms, so it was nice to have a complete version of the mould. Actually, this is probably nicer than the Brawn. The head sculpt is a lot nicer than Brawn's. I still need to get a new Brawn. So at that point, I was basically spent up, so I went back to the bar to find... I'd been talking to a few of the other guys there before that, and Becky was there as well, and I came back to the bar. I was going to sit down with everyone, and pretty much everyone had just gone. I don't know where probably back to the dealer room or panels or something like that. And I was just like, oh, well, I'll just play on my phone or something. And then I was like, no, do you know what? There was Dave Mentz over there. He was the only one left from the group that was sat there before. And I was like, no, I'm going to go and sit down and I'm going to be sociable for a change. So I went over there, sat next to Dave, had a bit of a chat, and gradually everyone reappeared. And it was all good. There was like Jim, who made it for the Sunday, and Anton reappeared, and Rob, and Chris, and Bisto. There's probably a few others, and I've probably forgotten you, and I really apologise. And we were just all sitting around chatting. Yes, we're all moving to Jamodia, Jim. Get it sorted. We will be there. So yeah, and then we started talking about Headmaster Brainstorm, Titans Return Brainstorm. And we were talking about how he was, I think Jim brought it up because he wanted him, but he was 25 quid compared to all the other Titans Return guys who were like 15 or so. Dave was explaining now, the actual retail price of these things is actually higher than what you're paying from here, and Brainstorm's an exclusive. It's not going to be in the shops. You've got to get him through online, guys, or here or whatever. So you're not going to get him cheaper. And the more we talked about him, the more I wanted him. It'd been one of the things I've been considering getting. But when I bought the Air Razor, it was like, if I buy Air Razor, I can't really get much else. So I wasn't going to get a Brainstorm, and then I was like, oh, we've just been talking about him. Didn't have any cash on me. Bought one anyway. ID Toys. Slapped it on the card. And this basically took me to the upper limit of what I was prepared to spend for the weekend. So didn't go technically over budget. I went above my initial, what I took out in cash, but I had a bit of a buffer if I really wanted to go mad. And so yeah, got a Brainstorm as well because he looks very, very nice. And that was it. That was everything I bought across the weekend. So yeah, really good. Really happy with what I managed to get. But not only that, but the weekend itself was fantastic. Considering it was the first year of TFNation, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. Everything just felt really slick and professional and organised. And obviously some of these guys have been involved with previous conventions behind the scenes, but it didn't feel like this was the first one, in that didn't seem to be any teething problems or any issues. If they were, they've managed to really paper over those very, very well to the point you wouldn't have known. So I tip my hat to the organisers for putting on what was an absolutely fantastic weekend. Everyone who went was absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for next year already. So yeah, that's been my TFNation haul and thoughts, albeit briefly. I've tried to condense it down a bit this year. I know in previous years I've gone on for way, way too long, so I tried to be a bit more to the point this year. So this has been me, you've been you, and I'll catch you next time.